Hello and welcome here. Although Lord Jason Lannister is giving Cersei a run for her money in House of the Dragon, Cersei may have been the worst Lannister in Game of Thrones. It's not too shocking that the great house members in each episode are so dissimilar given that House of the Dragon is set 200 years before Game of Thrones. Jason Lannister demonstrates that the family was far more pretentious and stupid in House of the Dragon, with their only real strength being the riches in their minds, in contrast to the prestige, power, fortune, and intelligence that House Lannister has in Game of Thrones. In Game of Thrones, House Stark and House Lannister were vastly different in terms of how likable they were. Every Stark was a hero, whilst most Lannisters were, at best, anti-heroes. The ruthless Tywin Lannister knows how to play the Game of Thrones better than anyone in Westeros, and Tyrion Lannister is still one of the best TV characters ever. Jaime Lannister also had one of the best redemption arcs in the history of the show. Cersei was one of the most compellingly terrible antagonists of the original Game of Thrones series, and she was as wise and strong as she was. Cersei Lannister won the prize for being an almost completely irredeemable character, burning out a sept full of innocent people and being really terrible to anybody other than her children. In Game of Thrones, Jason Lannister rarely resembles the dynasty from Casterly Rock, demonstrating how incredible it was for Tywin to restore his family's power to such an overwhelming extent. Jason is the worst in the sense that he is someone who is all too frequently encountered in real life, as opposed to the more high-stakes kind of terrible that is generally associated with Game of Thrones adversaries. The wealthy Jason Lannister is the poster boy for a self-important chauvinist person who has little going for him but his money and title, and he knows it in a series exposing the patriarchal principles embedded in Westerosi culture. In House of the Dragon Episode 5, when he congratulates Viserys on Rhaenyra and Laena's marriage, the Targaryens nearly always roll their eyes or make fun of him. Jason comically keeps turning into a caricature with each line of conversation in House of the Dragon, from completely ignoring Rhaenyra in his congrats to subtly mocking her by making a remark about women needing a long time to get dressed. The twins Jason and Tywin Lannister are considerably different from the other members of the Lannister family in Game of Thrones, and Jason feels quite differently about being the worst because of this. The evil Cersei Lannister was at least a very well-written character whose deeds were part of playing the Game of Thrones, in contrast to the pretentious Jason Lannister, whose every utterance is cause for an eye roll. Whether it was his sexist remarks about ladies being late, his failure to command respect in a room, or his numerous princess humiliations, Cersei herself would have scoffed at Jason's behavior. It is very difficult to cheer for Cersei and Jason Lannister, but not for the same reasons. Cersei was a particularly wicked character, but Jason Lannister from House of the Dragon is genuinely annoying as a figure who is totally deserving of his enormous money and power. Jason's hubris in House of the Dragon is made all the funnier by the fact that he lacks the strategic prowess and shrewd intellect of the Lannisters from Game of Thrones. Ultimately, Jason is the only notable Lannister in the Game of Thrones seasons to achieve relatively little, despite maybe being the most overtly conceited. Cersei occupied the Iron Throne. Jaime assumed the position of Lord Commander of the Kingsguard, Tywin and Tyrion served as the king's hands, and even Tywin Lannister, Jason's twin brother, occupies a number of positions on the Tiny Council. Jason will undoubtedly need to establish his value outside of inherited gold mines during the Dance of the Dragons. Please like this video and subscribe to my channel. See you soon.